All right, talking a little Utah football, life, and whatnot with Utah wide receivers coach Micah Simon. How are you?
Doing really well, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a whirlwind for you the last couple of years. Greeley, Syracuse, Albuquerque, now back to the state of Utah. What's it been like? What's the journey been like?
Journey's been very fun. You know, it's been very fast each year. It feels like I definitely am in a new spot. But it's been awesome being back in the state of Utah. Kind of reconnecting with people that I've known here from my college days, and just super blessed to be in this position that I'm in. You know, I'll never take this for granted.
It isn't. You're not that far removed from your college days. Shoot, I've been doing this for a long time, and it feels like just the other day I was calling your name in the rivalry game. Coaching's different. Life is different. It takes you different places. But was it a little weird at first when you first arrived here after competing not so long ago against Utah?
Definitely a little weird. You know, the first day walking into the building, you start looking around and you see the red and you see the clothes in your locker, and it's a little weird. But then you realize, no, this is I'm full in now. I'm full in. Utah man am I, and it's been great. You know, ever since.
What was that first meeting like when you bumped into Scally and Shaw and some of those defensive guys that you were competing against?
Yeah, seeing Coach Shaw was hilarious because he saw me from around the corner and kind of just stopped what he was doing and he gave me a huge hug and he said, "Man, I remember you, man. I remember you." And it was fun just competing against those guys, you know, a few years ago, but now being on the same side because, you know, I've been super impressed with everything that, you know, that defensive staff has done for all these years, and I'm excited to be on the same side of it now.
Why was coaching a direction you wanted to go in?
It was something early on in college that I felt would be a path for me. You know, being one of those players in college that had the leadership qualities, had the effect on other players around me. I was always a student of the game, loved watching film, loved trying to, you know, find ways to help, you know, the coaching staff and just figure out ways to win ball games. And it was something that just kind of fit me and fit my future. In
basketball, you call them gym rats. Football, you kind of call them tape heads or tape. You're in the film room. You're always doing it. Was there a coach that had a big influence on you? Could have been at college, could have been in high school. Was there somebody that you looked at and said, yeah, they've had a big I'd kind of like to do what they do? Yeah,
you know, there's a ton of coaches that I've been around from you know, high school and then obviously in college, and mentors that I've been around in college as well that have, you know, been able to have that effect on me. And, you know, obviously being a freshman and being with Jason and Robert and I and seeing those guys, and, you know, obviously, you know, Markey, you know, Uncle Markey, as I call him, you know, seeing what the effect those guys had has been great for me. But then, you know, obviously I can't look past my time in college. Like, obviously, you know, I'm in the red now, but, you know, my time there at BYU was significant for me. Without going there, I would not be in the position I am in now, and got all the love for those guys with what they do.
So I'm curious. I mentioned you're not that far removed. I think your senior year was at 18?
19.
19. Yep. Yes. So is there an advantage for you having not been that far removed from playing and knowing what these guys are going through? Is there a little bit more relatability because you're not that far removed from your playing career?
Definitely. I feel like that's one of my huge strengths in coaching, is being able to relate with the players. And I love getting along with the players. That's one of my favorite parts of coaching, and one of my favorite parts of recruiting is being able to talk to the guys and tell them, like, man, I wasn't you know, too far moved from where you guys are now. And, you know, I'm an open book. You know, I've been through pretty much anything you can think of as a player in college. You know, it's not like I was just this great player my entire 4 or 5 years. You know, I had the ups, I had the downs, I had the struggles. So I'm an open book, you know, for these guys. And I think it's a huge thing for me to be that open book, because college it's not easy. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy playing college football. It's not easy being at this P4 level, and being able to give that experience to those guys is a huge thing.
How did you and Jason connect?
Man, so the first connection was when I played quarterback in high school. He was the quarterback coach at BYU, and he came to recruit me. And then I always make this joke with him. I'm like, you told me I couldn't throw it good enough. So so then I started, being recruited as an athlete, as a receiver. But that was our first connection. Was my junior year of high school.
So how do you reconnect though? I mean, obviously he recruited you a little bit, but how do you reconnect at the coaching world? I think you're at Northern Colorado, right?
So we reconnected at Syracuse before Northern Colorado.
Okay.
So that connection kind of came from really from Coy Detmer. So Coy and I obviously played college together.
Right.
We kept in touch. Coy was a GA at Syracuse, and then they had a spot open up. Coy knew I wanted to get into coaching, and I was trying to work different angles. And he told Jason, it was like, man, you remember Micah? And Jason's like, oh yeah, I remember, blah blah blah. And Coy's like, man, he'd be great, like great hire. He'll be here immediately, blah blah blah. And then I talked with Jason, and yeah, the rest was history. So shout out to Coy for hooking that thing back up.
It's all I mean, whether you're in coaching or you're in broadcasting or you're whatever it is, it's networking, isn't it? And it's keeping in contact with friends and people that you've been around, because that's how you kind of wind your way up.
Definitely, right? Yeah, it's connections, the relationships. You never know where people will end up. You need to always keep that door open. A coach might be at ABC place, and then the next thing you know, he's at a different spot, and you just got to always keep those relationships open.
Talking to Micah Simon, Utah wide receivers coach here. So you guys were at New Mexico a year ago, and you had really good success. I mean, the offense, I think, was number 4 in the NCAA. You guys had really, really good numbers and good production. So now you're at Utah. Another level up, but also a level up on talent that you've got in this program. How do you see the evolution of the offense this year at Utah?
Yeah, I think for us, everything always evolves around what the offensive line can do, what the quarterback can do. That's kind of where it starts. And then we build everything else around, those two groups, because those are the most important, I believe, offensively. If you don't have an O-line, you don't have a quarterback, then nothing else matters. So we'll always lean on the offensive line and what they can do. And, when you have a group like this, the group that Coach Harding's put together, they can do it all. They can pass block, they can run block, they can do whatever you need them to do. So that's a great thing for us to have, especially in year one, here with this offense. And then obviously having a quarterback like Devin, where we know everything about him and what he brings to the table. So I think combining those two groups together will make the jobs easier for the rest of the group.
Well, because it's the most important position, no offense to the wideouts, but quarterback, we know it is, maybe in all of sports. I probably get asked more from Utah fans. Devin Dampier. You can see him in practice. Okay, I tell them what I can, but you got to experience Devin Dampier in live game situations last year. What are Utah fans in for this fall with Devin Dampier running this offense for his second year?
Yeah, what I can tell the fans, the kid is a gamer. The kid is ultra competitive. There's a look in his eyes on game day that you only see from special players. It's hard to really put into words what the kid can do, and I've seen him elevate our team last year to a different level, and I've been able to see him grow this spring and this summer. The experiences he has against our defense here, obviously our defense will be one of the top in the country again, like always, and he's made so many strides and so much growth this offseason. I mean, the kid's going to be even a better player next year, and I can't wait for people to watch.
I think the most impressive thing for me, and obviously I can see him at practice this year, it's watching him juke guys and move, keep his eyes open downfield, but it's the off-the-field stuff. It's not easy to come in to a new program that's pretty well established and be a leader right away. But it felt like all spring long, he was one of those guys that was kind of a magnet. The guys kind of were drawn to.
Definitely. Especially the culture here at Utah, you don't lack leaders. You don't lack that type of continuity within the group. That's what comes from top down with Coach Whittingham. So for him to be able to come in here and kind of like you said, be that magnet, and guys look to him for advice for whatever it is. It is impressive, and yeah, the kid off the field is he's just as impressive as he is on the field. I mean, he's always, trying to host recruits for visits. He's always, doing community service or whatever he can do. It's just the kid's he's a great person, and I'm glad I was able to be with him last year and be with him again this year.
All right, Coach Simon, let's get to your room now. Jason Beck said after spring ball, the biggest question he had was the wide receiver room and trying to figure out what he had. You've added a couple of guys in the late portal window, but as we sit here before fall camp begins, give me the state of the wide receiver room as you see it.
Yeah. We have a room that is very diverse. We've got the 6'4", 6'5" kids that can run. We've got the 5'9", 5'10" kids that are quick and can get open underneath. So kind of looking forward to just putting it all together. We have a inexperienced group, and I know that from whatever stats might show or snaps played might show here at Utah. Obviously, there's guys that have experience from other schools, but we're talking here at Utah. And I'm looking forward to us just putting it all together. I would say that it'll be a huge battle throughout fall camp. We'll have 9, 10 guys that are going to battle this thing out to kind of make that top 5, top 6. But looking forward to that challenge.
What's the biggest challenge you and Jason will face in those first couple of weeks of fall camp where you've got to find that top 6 or 7? Because, like you said, nothing's set in stone. You don't have that one ace right now. You hope that develops. So knowing that everybody wants reps and knowing you're limited in reps because it's fall camp, what's the biggest challenge in finding those top 6 or 7 guys?
Yeah, I think the challenge falls on me because I need to be the one that prepares the players to go out every single day and play at their best. So if I prepare them the right way, then it gives everyone that opportunity to showcase and put their best foot forward. If I'm not preparing kids the right way and they don't know what to do or they're not understanding what we're trying to get done, then that's kind of taking away their opportunity to put their best foot forward. So it'll fall on me, and then it will kind of just go from there. You start riding the hot hand and seeing who consistently gets open, who consistently makes plays, who consistently makes the offense better, and then we'll continue to grow. This is not our first rodeo when it comes to a deal like this, where you're coming into a program that does not have that top guy, does not have a lot of players with experience. And, this goes all the way back to Syracuse when we had a room with not much production. And then, a kid goes for 970 yards that year. And then, last year in New Mexico, we have, 2 kids that their top yardage was 400. And then a kid goes for 850 and a kid goes for 750. So, it's a process. There's proof in the pudding, and we're just taking it day by day.
You have one of those kids here, Ryan Davis, right?
Yes, sir.
So, we talk about Devin knowing the offense, but does having a guy that was in the offense in the wide receiver room help too?
Oh, it does wonders. Having Ryan, who's played a lot of football, he'll be going into his senior season. Loved what he did last year, where he was able to, kind of make a huge jump from spring and summer to fall camp. Going into fall camp, we didn't know Ryan would go for that many yards and that many catches, but he just kept his head down, kept grinding. So for him to have that experience, to have that year in the offense, and now be with all these new players, it does wonders. And just like how Devin's great off the field, RD is the same way. He's the same way. He gets along with all the guys, and they always are getting extra work together and hanging out together. So it's been great having him in the room.
Same question I've been asking everybody. Last thing, what has you most excited about this upcoming season?
Whew, man, if I could pick one thing, for me, it might be a thing people may not say, but it's watching the defense. Like when I'm on the sideline, as after we just had a drive and we're doing corrections or whatever, and then boom, I get to watch Utah's defense that's a sight to see, and I'm excited. I got to see that thing up close. I was reading something this morning where they, we've had the most pick sixes in the last 10 years. So, watching a defense like that can change the game. That's what I'm looking forward to. They make it easier for us. So.
Scalley's defense going back actually wasn't just Scalley, Sataki, Anderson, and Whittingham's defense. 21 straight years with the pick six.
See, that's what we need right there. That takes some pressure off of us. Y'all go get a pick and go score. High five you guys off coming off the field.
Or at least give us a short field, right?
Short field, yeah. So yeah, no. But this has been a great 6-7 months being here. Blessed to be in this position I'm in. I'll never take this for granted. Obviously, being 28 years old, it was just my birthday a couple weeks ago. People would kill to be in the position I'm in. So I'm just all ears every day, learning from the staff, and just thankful, man. Thankful.
Such a young pup, so much life and so much football in front of him. Utah wide receivers coach Micah Simon. Thanks, Micah.
Thank you, Bill.